So welcome to the Mario RPG Marathon. We've got 5 games for you all this weekend. And we will be starting with Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga being run by me. And then after that we will have a Paper Mario race between Juicy and Giga. And then Super Mario RPG will close out the day with a race between Albrecht, Milnium, and Oxwus. Alright, looks like everything's ready to go, so without further ado, 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and this is the All Bosses category. And it's designed to be kind of the middle category between any percent and glitchless. And as the category suggests, the objective is to defeat all the bosses in the game. There aren't any optional bosses in this game, so it kind of leads to a lot of the bulk of the category is mostly skipping around, getting to the bosses as quickly as you can through any means necessary. You'll be noticing that this run is on the Japanese version. The Japanese version does have a lot of specific glitches that are exclusive to it. And they don't make any percent faster for a number of reasons, but for all bosses they're quite useful. The main one being barrel clipping, which you will be seeing quite a lot of in the middle of the run. So just a little fun fact just to get this out of the way. The Japanese text isn't any faster in this version. It's just as fast as you can mash the button. At least as far as the intro goes, the English version has less text boxes. So at least for this part, the English version's faster text-wise. A few other little differences. There's actually a lot of little differences between the two versions. The Japanese version came out second, first of all, so instead of the English version coming out second and then having a bunch of bugs fixed, it worked the other way around. But by fixing some of the bugs in the Japanese version, they introduced a few other ones. And some of those other ones are quite useful to me. So the major difference, at least non-glitch-wise, in the Japanese version is that the mush badge is a lot weaker in this version. It's a little over half as weak, and it's over twice as expensive, so they nerfed it pretty hard, but it's still the best option I have available for damage. So I'm going to be picking up a lot of items to power that up. For anybody who doesn't know what the mush badge is, it's a badge that increases my base damage based on the number of mushrooms in my inventory. And this increases the minimum damage, so it effectively increases my damage on multi-hit attacks like Chopper Brothers by a factor of however the damage bonuses. A little bit of history about how this category kind of came to be. It was initially as a joke because when I first made this category, the Japanese version was the fastest for any percent, but English was still faster for glitchless. So I'm like, I wanted to be able to use all of the glitches in the Japanese version in a way to basically have an interesting route to defeat all the bosses in the game. And initially, my time for all bosses was slower than glitchless, so it was kind of a joke at first. But more things got discovered that brought the time down, and now it's just over 3 hours for the best time. As far as what the run looks like, if you'll recall any percent's about an hour and 20 minutes now. It's approximately 2/3 normal gameplay and then 1/3 being extremely underlevel and glitching through the game. For all bosses, that's flipped around. For the first third of the game, it's basically like any percent. And then the later 2/3 of the game is a glitchy mess and being severely underleveled. So it's a better showcase of all of the game and more of the tricks that this game has to offer that you would not normally see in any percent. The most important part of any Superstar Saga run is taking your pictures. I've often joked that I could say that manipulates the RNG in some form, but after picking the same portraits over and over again, the answer is they definitely, maybe, still do. So one of the initial differences you'll see is that your bros points are higher to start with on the Japanese version. This is nice for a few reasons. It means I don't have to use as many syrups in the early game, and it makes the Toll Star fight a bit faster. To answer the chat there really isn't 100% definition for this category. There isn't that much optional stuff in this game. The only real optional quest is the coffee item thing. And really all that would do from a practical standpoint is beat all bosses plus coffee, which would add about an hour of grinding. One thing they added to the level up bonus screen there was a D-pad. They didn't do that in the English version, and they also added that to the Toad walking sequence. That pun was unintended, by the way, so that makes it the best kind of pun. So I'm going to be leveling up power for the first 7 or so levels in the game. Power matters for the first third of the game, but once I get the mush badge, it'll be irrelevant, and I'll be leveling up mostly HP from then on. By the way, if anybody didn't see what I put in chat before my run started, the composer for this game does all of the Mario and Luigi games, Super Mario RPG, and also all of the Kingdom Hearts games. So if you like the music from all those games, that's probably a very good reason why. So the main thing with this game is that every enemy has a tell, and if you're good enough, you can take 0 damage throughout the entire game. While unlikely, it makes for some interesting combat. Yeah, Shimomura is the composer. She did that for all those series I mentioned. So here we have the border jump minigame. I'm going to be taking damage on purpose throughout this, and there's a reason behind it. At the end of this minigame, there's going to be a bunch of fireworks that go off, and the number of fireworks that go off are dependent on the number of lives I have left. So I want to leave Mario and Luigi with 1 life each to get 2 fireworks instead of more than that. Today, what will be on the schedule is this game, Paper Mario Race follows, and then a Super Mario RPG race after that. And tomorrow we'll have Partners in Time and Thousand Year Door. Stash is actually picked up during this run on Luigi. The Mush Badge and mushrooms are quite expensive, so putting a few bonuses into Stash will lower the price just enough to get me essentially a few free mushrooms. So yeah, I don't pick up any coins earlier because Tolstar just steals them all anyway. So now I gotta go pick up 100 of them. Those single coin blocks are a bit harder than it looks to get 10 coins out of. The timing's pretty precise, and if you're off just by a little bit, you'll only get 9 or sometimes 8. In my experience, if you mash, you'll only end up getting about 6, so you have to time it rhythmically. If there's anything you've learned from this game, is that the Mushroom Kingdom economy is not doing too well in this timeline. It starts from a 10-to-1 ratio, and then it ends up being like 1,000,000 to 1 at some point, or maybe it was 1,000,000,000. Tutorials are kind of a mainstay in the Mario and Luigi series. You can skip a few of them in this one, but some of them you'll say you don't want to and they'll force you to anyway. And this is one of them. One little menuing difference between this game and Partners in Time is that the B button automatically says no. So if there's a text box I know I need to say no to, I can just alternate A and B, and I will go through the text fast while saying no to it. But in Partners in Time, that's not the case because B still advances the text. Partners in Time has a little bit of an advantage in text mashing because you can just rock your finger through the 4 face buttons and it will scroll through it really fast. So this tutorial serves a bit of a purpose on the English version. When you do this tutorial on the English version, it resets your bros points to full, and it also gives you 1 free use of Splash Brothers. But in the Japanese version, instead of giving you a free Splash Brothers, it sets it to 0. So doing any fights before this tutorial is pretty much useless. So speaking of Splash Brothers, I'm going to be using a few Splash Brothers throughout these next few fights. One major mechanic in this game is that you can unlock advanced versions of your bros attacks by using them enough times. And it gives it an alternate effect. It's usually a side grade. It's not strictly better in most cases. But in Splash Brothers' case, I need to do it 20 times. Getting Splash Brothers Advance will make one of the boss fights a little bit later a lot quicker. I am not getting good power rolls. It's not a deal breaker, but it's going to make a few fights slower if I keep rolling ones. Yes, there are 3 speeds on Bros attacks, 1, 2, and 3. You do a little bit more damage when you have it on the highest speed. Not used to having a 1-up there. Yes, this game is out for the Wii U Virtual Console, though I'm running the Japanese version because it's needed for this category. For any percent and glitchless, I run on Wii U VC. The reason I run on VC for the other categories I'll get into a little bit later, once it becomes more relevant to explain about it. Marathon luck. The major factors of RNG in this run are in the middle of it. There's a string of 3 bosses in a row that are really influenced by RNG. But as far as damage rolls and all that go, damage rolls are not random. If you do the same inputs, you'll get the same amount of damage every time, assuming you have the same stats, which makes routing this game a little bit nicer because you don't have to worry about any variance in that regard. The main source of randomness in this game is enemy patterns. Oh, man. Those power-up bonuses are technically not random. They can be timed, but the speed of which the scroll bonus goes through is kind of fast, and on top of that, the timing for it is a little bit weird. The timing for it is when the number you want is past the center and not on the center, so it's kind of a weird visual cue. Yes, got the swag jump. Earlier didn't have to high jump up the wall. So it's going to be looking like that I'm going out of the way to get items, and that's because I need to do that. Being that the mush badge is much weaker in this version, it means I need more items than I would in English any percent. But the reason for all this is to effectively multiply my damage by 6 by the end of it all. Alright, that's all the items I need to grab in the Hoo Hoo Village. So now is a good time to mention enemy encounters. Encounters are a really bad thing in this game because I need all the money I can get. And running away from encounters is very costly money-wise. So if I do get an encounter, I just have to suck it up and kill the enemy that I ran into. Oof, that was close. Ugh, and that guy decided to get in my way. Well, because my power is pretty low right now, I'm going to take an extra encounter in the next room. It doesn't cost a whole lot of time to just take an extra fight up there, but it will give me the power I need to defeat the next boss in a timely manner instead of having to also use a syrup. Alright, this next room's a little bit scary because of that beanie, and he didn't really give me a good pattern to work with, and he just didn't want to give me a good pattern today. Ah, I missed that. Another one. Well, I got the extra experience I needed anyway. Enemy patterns on the mountain are not doing me any favors right now. The last three have just been doing everything in their power to get in my way. in any percent, this minigame means a lot because it's needed to keep going to do a skip at the end of the game. But because I have to defeat all the Koopa kids in this category, it doesn't make any sense to do that skip. This also means I can do safety saves throughout this run in a few key spots. I did not get a great pattern there. So, unlike the English route where you can't save it all until the very end of the game, this I can do a few of them for marathon safety without having to use restore points. So there was a soft lock in this fight that they fixed in the Japanese version. On the English version, if you attack the rock that he's hiding under and unlock an advanced move on the same turn, it just gets stuck infinitely and you can't do anything. Another little difference is the pillars break immediately in the English version, and I think how the soft lock was fixed is simply them having a delay on the pillars breaking. If I had high enough power, I'd be able to kill him on this turn, but because I don't, I have to break the pillar one more time. This is pretty good stuff right here. But the only real problem with those ones is it's just going to make the boss fights up ahead slower. There's a safe spot right next to the wall that you can hide, well, quote unquote, hide from the dry bones. You can just wait for him to get into a better spot and then you can just walk right on by. Getting hit by that dry bones wastes over a minute. Because not only do you have to finish the fight, but you have to go back and get the water too. This fight has another difference in the Japanese version, in any percent, you want to get Splash Advance on the same turn you kill him, because that triggers both animations at the same time. But they wait for each other on this one. It's not going to matter that much because I'm a bit low on power anyway, so I'm not going to get the kill on the same turn. Alright, there's the Splash Brothers advance move I need. That'll be useful for the next fight, which is Queen Bean. By the way, if you haven't noticed, all of the rocks have smiling faces on them. Or I guess they're laughing faces. It's okay, the ones I'm getting aren't gonna matter very soon. I think at worst I've lost maybe a minute due to bad power rolls on this run. But that's not a huge deal for this. So coming up is the scariest part of the run. It's known as the minecart game. And it's not a particularly hard game, but the main reason why it's scary is because I've never failed it. And the day will come where I will fail that game at some point or another. But let's hope it's not today. Power rolls are much bigger of a deal in any percent because you need a specific amount of power. You need a range of power at the end of the game to kill Cackletta in a timely manner. But your damage is lower in general on the Japanese version, and the Mush Badge will be the entire source of your damage by the end anyway, so for all bosses, it'll make the beginning faster to have higher power, but as soon as you beat the first Poplin rookie fight, power stops being relevant. And during my SGDQ run, this was legit the scariest part for me because if I failed this on a big stage, I would never hear the end of it. The only way to fail it is to hit both the rocks that show up, and I've already dodged the first one, so I'm in the clear. Alright, scariest part of the run's over. We can go home now. Coming up next is Paper Mario All Cards by Juicy and Giga. Uh, 315 is my estimate. It's a bit late for this now, but it probably should have been 320, so I'll just need to play well so it doesn't matter, or what the estimate is. So the funny thing about any percent is that the castle town never gets repaired, because you skip all the sequences that would repair the town. But in this run, you will see a pristine Bean castle town for once. So the sewers here is one of the hardest places to dodge encounters in. It can be the source of a lot of time loss. Oh, one thing you may have noticed back there are heart blocks in the Japanese version. They introduced them in, oh my god. They introduced them in this version, and they added them to every Mario and Luigi game afterwards. That first encounter is not as big of a deal because it's only 2 enemies, and so is this one. But they are not doing me any favors right now. On the bright side, I didn't roll a 1, and now I'm not underleveled for Queen Bean, or underpowered for Queen Bean, so I don't have to waste an extra turn on that. One minor thing about the room before then, hitting the cork from the back end saves a little bit of time, maybe barely a second, because the camera doesn't have to scroll as long. These 3 items are really hard to get without getting hit. Wow, that's supposed to be a safe spot. Okay, I'm gonna hope they all attack Mario. Come on, yes. Alright. When one bro is down, you don't lose as many coins to run away. So there I lost 3 coins instead of about 20 to 30, which is a lot more manageable. You know, when your security system involves plumbing and the next door neighbor has 2 heroes that are plumbers, I don't know if you're thinking your national defense is that well. There's a small difference in this fight compared to the English version. In the Japanese version, Queen Bean has 20 less HP, so that means I don't need as much damage to kill her. With the stats I had before getting that accidental level up, I wouldn't have had enough damage to kill her in 4 turns, but now I do. Splash Brothers Advance allows me to jump on spike enemies, and it deals twice as much damage to spike enemies. So this makes Queen Bean rather trivial. So this is where I'm going to take a few stash bonuses just for the Fungi Town trip. Man, the bonuses are just not doing me any favors right now. So I get a free badge from that tutorial. It's convenient because it puts Mario's power at a place to where I can kill a rookie pretty fast. And I'm over leveled right now anyway. Normally I'm level 6 leaving that fight, but extra encounters have put me at 7. It's kind of funny how even if I get a few extra encounters, I still lose time in the end of it, but I gain a little bit of it back by making the few boss fights where power matters a bit quicker. So it's not all bad news. This room is kind of foreshadowing into what's going to happen in the run very soon. Barrels, barrels, barrels. Rookie has a slight AI difference in the Japanese version. He attacks both Mario and Luigi twice when he starts breathing fire. And in the English version, he just does 2 attacks at random. And this is true for the second time you fight these two. Get a little bit more stash. So from this point on, my power is irrelevant. I don't need to level it up anymore. Pretty much the only thing I'm going to level up from here is bros points and HP. Leveling up HP is mostly to be able to survive more hits later in the game in case I make any mistakes during the fights. And you get enough bros points through level ups that you barely need to level it up any. Upgrading power will only add a little bit of damage, it's not even worth doing. Speed isn't gonna matter because I'm gonna have an item that mitigates speed. And defense doesn't do as good of a job as defending you as HP does in this game. Oh, you also get higher health bonuses than defense as well. The way defense is balanced in this game, it's assuming that you have some kind of armor equipped, but I don't pick up any armor except for one, and I'm picking it up more for its secondary effect instead of its defensive bonuses. So the game's been pretty tame at this point. Any of you that have seen an any percent run know what's coming up soon. But anyone who hasn't seen this game is in for a treat. Whoops. Whoops. I'm thinking too far ahead. So there's a frame perfect trick here I gotta do. Got it second try. Thankfully the Game Boy player cooperated with me. I'll explain what happened here in a moment when I got a chance to not needing to focus on this right now. So what I did back there was a combination of 3 glitches. The first was barrel storage, and that's a frame perfect trick to store barrel commands on Mario and Luigi. The second one was called sign glitch, and what I did there was I overwrote the memory value for Luigi's action command by breaking out of a fake barrel and then going to a sign. And then from there, I'm able to manipulate the memory values for the action commands to get what I want. So a combination of all that and the final glitch, which involves putting small Mario in the back, allowed me to get a barrel hop on Mario right now. And what's about to happen here is a exclusive glitch to the Japanese version. I'm going to do a quick safety save right here. So anyway, now I've got this barrel. Let's do things with it. And suddenly I can use it to walk on water and various other things. You can't do that in the English version. You have to do a more creative method to get around those rocks. But another side effect is I can also go through walls horizontally. Get a free max nut there, which I'm going to sell. So yeah, that glitch there, barrel clipping is the main glitch for all bosses, and it's why I really like the category. You can clip through things vertically if they're one block thick, which those rocks are. I'll explain this in a second here. Oh no, Peach is with us. She is, don't worry. See, there she is right there. Okay, so perhaps what I just did requires a bit of explanation. When you high jump on Luigi with Mario, when Luigi is underground, it creates some interesting side effects. One of which is that you can teleport, and used correctly, you can get past the wall there. It's a pretty dangerous trick, though, because doing it wrong means you get stuck and soft lock. $72 is a good number of mushrooms. Whoops. Alright. Another safety save here. So now I have the mush badge, and I have a lot of damage now. So instead of completing Chucklehuck Woods, I'll go back to that a little bit later. I've got more important things to take care of. The order of which you do the bosses does matter to some extent, because if you stack cutscenes on Bean Bean Castletown, the game will crash or softlock depending on how you do it. So there is a limit to what order I can do the bosses in, but the route that I have here, at least as of right now, makes the most sense. Who knows what rerouting can do in the future? Oh my god. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying before, my other stats are irrelevant, so I'm just gonna grab HP from now on. Wow. I'm not doing very well at dodging encounters today. Alright, so this is Woohoo University. This is a fairly long area to do, and it has some puzzles that I don't remember how to do, because I can't remember the last time I did them. So, I'm just gonna skip them. So a common programming logic in video games is if you've done one thing, it assumes that you've done everything before then. And this area is no different. So I'm going to hit the final switch in University, and the game is going to assume that I've done everything else. So by doing this, I have the means to open that final door there. Doing this, unfortunately, removes my storage for barrels, but it's something I have to deal with. So this is one of the first in the major RNG bosses in the game. Cacletta has a move which splits her into 3 clones, and the tell for the clone that's the real one is really hard to pick out, because it's whatever shadow is different when she splits apart, and I have a method which gives me moderate success to pick it out, but I still miss it every now and then. So let's just hope that she doesn't use the splitting attack at all and just uses lightning. And I picked the wrong one. And picking the wrong one loses a lot of time. I think it's bottom. Swing and a miss. There's another way you can tell which one's the real one, but it's a little bit inconvenient. So here's one way you can tell what the real one is. You waste a turn on an item, and the one that raises both arms is the real one. By the way, it's a lot easier to tell who the real one is when you're watching the stream at 30 FPS, but at 60 frames it's a lot tougher to tell. So if you guys in the chat are able to pick them out that easily, that is why. Menus, please. Center one this time. Okay, so she's critical on health now. By the way, Knockback Brothers, which is Luigi's attack, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but I'm unlocking his advance move here. So it's important that I get as many of those in as I can. I won't see Knockback Brothers advance until like a little bit into Bowser's Castle. So yeah, Cackletta has a bit of randomness involved. Some of it can be mitigated if you're good at picking out the shadows. Today was not a good day for me picking out shadows. The next two fights are definitely all random though, and there isn't anything I can do about them. Oh. The main benefit to doing these bosses in this order is that, at least for Chucklehuck Woods, which will be one of the places I head to next, is that I'll be able to defeat both bosses there instead of having to come back for a second trip. Just missed the one cycle. That last mouse is random. Wow. Okay, last life. The speed on that last one just speeds up and slows down, and it makes it annoying. By the way, if anyone is curious what the definition of a boss is, it's any fight that has a different music from the standard fight. Some people will say the Piranha Bean is a boss because it's a unique enemy. But I just wanted a consistent definition. Having 70 mushrooms is kind of a magic number before getting to Hooniversity, because after the items I pick up after Cackletta, I'll be doing 8 damage a hit instead of 7. And that's useful for this fight and for Hermie 3, which is coming up next. By the way, when is Popple and Rookie Superstar Saga? So, one of the reasons why I did this area first after doing the Fungi Town on a side thing to get the Mush Badge is that this is going to dump me on Oho Oasis, which will get me the hand powers. I need to get them to enter Joke's End later, and they're also needed to get to the third Popple fight, which is in the forest. So it's just convenient that this fight dumps me here, because then I don't have to go surfing here. Yes, that is correct. We're not even going to pick up those pieces. I was thinking of the Fire Temple. I won't really be using these abilities in combat, but the Bros version of these are useful for outside in the overworld. And there's some sections that I can technically get through without these powers, but it makes them a lot longer to do so. So how many of you played this game and recalled the ocean segment and didn't really care for it? I was one of those people, so let's just not do the ocean segment. I don't really like to do it. Another side effect of getting the hand powers now is that I can get my glitched commands back without a barrel, and that's also one of the reasons why I did Hooniversity first. Once I get my firebrand, I'll be able to demonstrate how I can just glitch out my commands now from wherever. So now that I've got Firebrand, I can do this glitch anywhere I can make a small Mario and separate them. So I've got Barrel Hop back. By the way, Sign Glitch is kind of a misnomer because I can execute it on talking things too. So pretty much anything that changes your action command can do it. So let's talk about surfing for a second. Surfing is a bit limited in what I can do with it because it requires that I wipe out Mario's action command to do it. But one of the tricks that was discovered that it really broke open the all bosses category was Void Barrel. And that's where you have a barrel command on Luigi instead of Mario. So it gives you all the benefits of barrel clipping, and it allows you to keep it after you surf as well. So because of that, I get to do a pretty neat little skip coming up that lets me get into Guarhar Lagoon a lot earlier. Okay. Okay, I got it. That clip there is a little bit scary because you have like a pixel-wide room to deal with, and if you do it wrong, it's off locks. Because if Luigi jumps on the barrel, he doesn't have a way to get off. By the way, I hope you guys like half a cutscene. Normally you enter this room right in front of Hermie, but because I entered from the left and the programming doesn't shift the camera during this cutscene, we just get half of Hermie. My estimate is not generous enough for me to do any glitch showcases of any kind. I'm probably going to be cutting it close if I make any major mistakes. Like I said, my estimate probably should have been 320. But I'm going to play. I just need to play well to make up for it. Alright. This fight is random. He'll always counterattack me here. That's pretty much the only not random thing about it. Luigi doesn't do enough damage to warrant hitting his face, so I'm just going to hit his claws for now. But he has a chance to hide in his shell, and if he does that, I have to use Mario's Firebrand to get him out. And that lowers my damage significantly by doing that. So let's hope for no hiding. Oh my. This is This fight's going places. Marathon luck is in full force right now. Three games of hide and seek. He is very, very close to dead. Okay, good. Alright, so that's Hermie. This will be the only piece of the Beanstar that I pick up. So we're gonna have 1/4 of a Beanstar. So now that I've completed Guarahar Lagoon, I'm going to do the beginning of it. Because the beginning of the lagoon has the Bros hand powers, which I need to get through some parts of the game. Another convenient reason why this comes earlier in the run in an all bosses run. This costs 200 coins to enter, but the last 2 bosses I fought gave me enough money to pay it. Oh yeah, I did forget about the other one in Chucklehuck Woods, so I'm getting half a Beanstar. Whoops. One too early. The really old all bosses route required that I finish the Beanstar quest, and that is extremely slow. One thing that the Void Barrel glitch earlier also helps me do is get into Joke's End without Ultra Hammers. And that was the main thing that made this category possible. So not only do you have to pay 200 coins to get hand powers and massages, you also get blackmailed on top of that and don't get your 200 coins back. What a world we live in. There's a couple sections in Bowser's Castle that I need these hand powers for. And there's also one coming up very soon, just before the next boss that I fight. So, as you may recall, a long time ago, I left the forest. Well, there's two bosses in the forest I need to defeat. And now that I have the means to access both of them, I'm gonna head back there. You can get past that Koopa without this, but the main issue is getting out. So that's why it's necessary. This next barrel clip is probably the hardest in the run. On top of that, you have a popple fight, which is difficult and also very random. So this is this section is just something else. Messed that up. The positioning is the hardest part about this. Right. All right. That Winkle's hitbox that is blocking the way into this room is really, really tall. I have to go behind him instead of around him. So this fight is random if he uses a certain attack. You can lose a lot of time on him that way. It'll be very evident what the attack is if we see it. Well, it was a good run. A good streak. Those bombs that are on the ground are a lot harder to dodge than they look. Their hitboxes are very deceptive. I will take a one-bag fight. That usually, my average tends to be about 2 or 3. Okay. That part's a little scary too, because messing that up means you have to redo the fight. So this is going to be something that you don't see very often from me. I'm going to complete the rest of Chucklehuck Woods. In the current route, I believe this is the area that could be improved the most, but there are certain reasons why right now that various forms of barrel clipping are not here. And the unfortunate thing is that the one room that I would like to use barrel clipping in, the game crashes if you spawn a barrel in that room. And as far as I know, there's only one other room in the game that does the same thing. But this room in particular, for some reason, crashes when you spawn a barrel. And I think it has to do with this guy here, but I'm not entirely sure why it does it. So at least now, in the route's current form, this has to be done the intended way. That fruit over there, it is possible to get there without doing this puzzle, but it's slower, and on top of that, you can't grab it unless you're small. Like, I've gotten Mario and Luigi up there through barrel clipping, and it just doesn't let me pick it up. Those were some very favorable Chuck Guy positions. So the next fight coming up is Wiggler, and it's easily the most trivial of the boss fights in this run. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting pattern. And I'm just gonna not do anything fancy. And Wiggler's dead. Easy. Normally the strat I use there is to use the advanced version of Bounce Brothers to hit 2 segments at once. But since they were split up, it's not something I can reliably count on to hit the ones I want. This Chucklehuck Woods has gone very nicely. Only 1 bag on Popple, and I haven't had any extra encounters. Oof. So let's revisit the boss order again. This one needs to be done before Mom Piranha, because if I do Mom Piranha before this fight, the cutscenes will soft lock when either one of them plays. Well, Mom Piranha won't, but Chuckolators would afterwards. And if you stack the cutscenes on top of each other, the game will soft lock as well. So this is Chuckolator. He's legit one of the hardest bosses on a normal playthrough, because he has an attack that has a 1-frame window to dodge. We'll see if he does it. Almost did it. When he does the bubble attack against Mario when he's standing in front of him, for some reason that's a 1-frame window. In a glitchless run, you could have a run die to this fight if he decides to do that enough times. It's technically possible here too, but it would have to be extraordinarily bad luck. But in all bosses, I'm a bit over-leveled and I have a mush badge, so Chuckolator's pretty trivial. Oh, I see. Chuckolator is in fact in the chat. This is the one of 2 categories where you gotta kill Chuckolator. So yeah, these cutscenes here are what I was referring to later. If you stack any of the cutscenes on top of each other, the game will soft lock. And if you specifically do the airport cutscene out of order, it messes up everything. In this part of the game, this is where you would normally go to Woohoo University after doing the Chucklehuck Woods quest. That's already completed though, so I'm just gonna go to the airport and defeat Mom Piranha. Pipe number 3 will be a lot useful later. Reminder that Dream Team did nothing wrong. Get out of my way. You gotta be careful with these piranhas here because you can still get an encounter when they're in this paralyzed state. Okay. Okay, that was weird. Oh, wait. Yeah, a little brain fart right there. Just need to go here. Okay, this fight's pretty simple. It's just Chopper Brothers and win. And this is like a second in a string of boss fights where I'm over-leveled, so the fights don't last that long. And just like with Hermie, I don't want to attack Mom Piranha because she'll counterattack. So Luigi's just gonna deal with these baby piranhas here. Yeah, Mill. The damage is always the same if you do the same commands exactly the same. Assuming you have the same stats, of course. There's no damage variance at all. So we're going to go to Teehee Valley next. There are 2 bosses that I need to deal with there. One is the final Popple fight and the other is Trunkle. You'll recall last time I went to Teehee Valley, Trunkle was asleep. And you can't do that fight unless you have triggered the Peach Escort quest. So because of that, you have to fight Mom Piranha before Trunkle. Another thing doing Mom Piranha now does is unlock the 1 trouser to rule them all, and that is the number 1 trousers. The number one trousers are extremely overpowered on the English version. They only cost about 250 coins. And they let whoever's wearing them go first, regardless of what their speed stat is. They got nerfed heavily in the Japanese version. For one, you can only equip them to Mario, and it costs over 1,200 coins. So all of the money I've been getting here is going straight to that. I'm a little short. That ought to do it. Right on the dot. Anyway, the number one trousers are still extremely useful. Because now, as long as Luigi doesn't get hit in the back, I can run away from any encounter. Or without having to deal with any fights. The other benefit to it is the way it gives you your free turn is kind of weird. Because sometimes you can manipulate fights in such a way to where you can get an extra turn. By the way, I never pick up any hammer upgrades, so I have to get barrel storage again. So this is the Peach Escort quest. It's one of the more annoying parts in a glitchless run, but it's a lot easier in all bosses. So Peach is going to get kidnapped here. We're just going to kind of leave her be for a little bit. She'll be fine. Because there's another boss I'd rather do right now. Popple and Birdo are just over a series of walls, so I'm going to do some hat teleporting to get there. Game Boy player is cooperating with me today. That is very good. Chat's always great during these parts. No, that was too high. And that's perfect. Let's restore Luigi back to normal here. a convenient heart block, and move on our merry way. This room's a lot scarier in any percent because you can't jump with both of them.
Mario! Luigi! Wow!
So doing this fight now does give me a few benefits later on. I'll explain why in a second. That was not very good mashing. Yeah, there you can see the #1 trousers is going to work. And it gives me, at least Mario, a free turn before the rest of the fight starts. So these eggs, as far as I know, I haven't been able to figure out which one Popple hides in through any tells. The internet will tell you that whichever egg hops twice is the one that he's hiding in, but the internet is lying. The ones that hop twice mean they're gonna attack Luigi. If they hop once, they attack Mario.
Oh yeah!
So anyway, doing this fight now sets up my warp back point to Bean Bean Castletown. When, or at least no, this one says it's a Teehee Valley. The one afterwards is going to set it to Castletown. But there's a death warp that I do later. So when I complete Joke's End, it's going to warp me right in front of Bean Bean Castle, so I don't have to watch the cutscene where Bean Bean Castletown gets destroyed. By the way, Chopper Brothers Advance is not useful at all. Well, it kind of is. It's an infinite attack similar to Knockback Brothers Advance, but its timing is a lot more difficult. And on top of that, the timing of it, the frames change by like 1 here and there throughout the use of it, so it makes it really difficult to use. On top of that, if you mess it up, then you did less damage than what you would do a normal Chopper Brothers for. Anyway, Peach is just fine. She's just been sitting right there. So, interesting little side effect of going to Fungi Town before this quest. There are no gritty Goombas around to kidnap Peach, so she can't be kidnapped as long as she stays on the screen. So all I have to do is dodge lasers. So I just have to push Peach along, help her get to where she needs to go. Okay, the Anubus were very kind to me this time. Okay. This is cutting it close because of that mistake. Oof. Okay. Almost there. That was a little scary, just from my own mistake, but thankfully I don't lose any time for it.
Oh yeah.
So now Trunkle's awake. All I needed was Peach to show up. Trunkle acts a little bit different in the Japanese version. If you hit the tree on top of his head, he recovers immediately. So once again, this is another case where Luigi should not be attacking the weak point. That didn't kill, that's interesting. My mashing might have been a little bit off on that last one.
Oh yeah.
So Peach has already kind of visited Fungi Town, so she's gonna ride up the elevator with us, but she's not gonna be there with us. Buy a few more shrooms. Another safety save. So there is a very specific reason why I did not sell my default armor that Mario had. because he's wearing the #1 trousers right now, but this game had a little bit of an oversight where you can't unequip armor. And there are a few cases where I do not want to go first in a fight, so in order to unequip the 1 trousers, I have to keep the default armor around to do it. And if you accidentally sell it, you're kind of in a bad situation because there is no such thing as cheap armor. Conveniently, there's a sign here. I think that messed up. Oh. Alright. I was fortunate that there wasn't a frame skip there. So a little fun fact about the Game Boy player, it runs at a different frame rate from the Game Boy Advance. It runs, I believe, just a little bit faster than it. I don't remember the exact numbers. But to compensate for that, the Game Boy player will add and drop frames at random intervals or whenever it needs to. And if it decides to add or drop a frame at the wrong time, it can skip over an action command. And that means it can mess up what I was trying to do. It also leads to dropped inputs sometimes, so if you've ever had an issue with inputs dropping on... where's my... Okay. That's interesting. We're taking a side detour here because apparently I have the wrong commands. That was very strange. I'm trying to think of what caused it. Thankfully, there is a backup right here. I must have accidentally hit L somewhere along the line when I didn't want to. Oh well, this will fix it. I'm a bit disoriented at the moment. Okay, where am I? Please ignore the guy who got himself turned around. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled speedrun. So use of Void Barrel lets me get past there without Ultra Hammers. Alright, so here's Joke's End. A lot of people may remember this one as being a pretty difficult area, and during all bosses, there's no exception for that either. Thankfully, there are a number of skips in this area, but the skips involve some pretty precise barrel clips and dodging of enemies, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, step 1. Okay, that first one, if you're off by a little bit, you get stuck. So, step 1 is done. Okay, step 1 is done. This whole thing here is going to skip the part where you split up Mario and Luigi. Okay. Nice. No encounter. That part is really hard to get no encounters in, so I am really happy that I got through without one. And there is the main benefit to the number 1 trousers, allowing me to run away. I have almost no money now, so it doesn't matter if I run away or not. Okay, so I'm going to reverse engineer solving this puzzle here. Oh, come on. Normally you light these with solo Mario, but I've got... Oh, hi Luigi, how's it going? But I've got them together, so I have to cross the gap to light them on fire. And now I'm gonna put them out, put the fires out. It seems kind of a weird way to have to solve this puzzle, but it's the way the game's logic works. Ooh, 2 encounters. I usually end up getting 1 in here, but 2 is below average for me. Whoops. So now that I have the tornado there, I can put out all the fires at once and open that door. And that's Joke's End. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I should save here, actually. I haven't died to this boss in a while, but some of the attack timings are a bit off.
Okie dokie.
Whoops. So this is a boss where I want to not go first, so I unequip the trousers.
Okie dokie.
So here's the reason why I don't want to go first. It makes Jojora here go first, and then she runs away. Oh, she came back early. That's annoying. If you attack Jojora's friend when she's around, she will do these really awful attacks at you. And that's why you want to go first. With good luck, she doesn't come back in time. Wow. I would like some good luck, please. I think this might be enough to kill. I kinda want to risk it. Yes! I called it right. So now that I've defeated the boss, it's time to Death Warp away. If I complete the rest of Joke's End, I'm gonna be stuck because it will put me in a situation with Solo Mario that requires Ultra Hammers to complete. So I'm just not gonna do that.
Okie dokie.
This is not the ideal enemy pattern to kill me quick. In fact, I may even survive this round. Yep.
No. Luigi.
Okay, so there's a very important menu coming up here. If I do it wrong, I have to redo the boss fight.
Mamma mia.
Hit down once, and then hit A. when you die, you can either reload from your previous save, which was before the fight, or return to the last major point in the story, where you get to keep all your experience and items. And based on the way I did the bosses, it dumped me right into Castletown. So, normally I wouldn't have to watch this cutscene because I've already gotten the thing necessary for it, but I'm a bit lower on damage for some reason. I'm not sure what I forgot, so I'm just going to go buy a few items real quick to boost my damage. Just for safety's sake, anyway. It'll boost my damage to 11 damage per hit instead of 10, which is a small increase, but it's going to be necessary for some of the upcoming fights. Hey, I got it twice in a run. So, Bowser's Castle. You have 9 bosses in this area, the 7 Koopa Kids, Fawful, and Cackletta. This is one of the easiest places to lose time in just from encounters and doing Knockback Brothers Advance successfully and having action commands correctly. By about the second or third Koopa Kid, I'm going to have Knockback Advance, which is an infinite combo. It's a little bit of a slower attack, but the Koopa Kid's attacks take all day, so it's just better to infinite them. And depending on what they do and how well you do can greatly influence your time. Good luck to start, I like it. Oof. And then I mess up Knockback. I'm very close to getting the advanced version. I'm leading with Luigi in the front because if Mario gets hit in the back by something, I can immediately run away. Because the #1 trousers allow him to get up and then run away immediately.
최고. 오키 도키.
That is the preferred attack. Looks like I'm gonna unlock it during the Lemmy fight. Or during this fight, actually.
Oh yeah.
Wow, he's not dead yet. My mashing must be a little bit off. Can't have that much HP left. There we go.
Yahoo.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. The Magic Koopa didn't troll me.
Oki doki.
If the Magic Koopa decided to put fire there, it would have likely hit Luigi in the back.
오키 최고. 오키 도키. 오키.
Okay. Team left? Nope. Come on. There it is.
Let's go. Okie dokie.
He has a tell during this part. Knockback advance can go on infinitely, and the timing of it is dependent on where the enemies are standing. Also, the game doesn't stop you when you have killed them either. You have to count how many hits you do based on their HP. Whoops. Man, my commands are all over the place right now. So, remember the mice from University? You get a worse form of it here. That was early. That was also early. Here is kind of random, but that was fortunate that the Mecha Koopa was in a good location. Alright. So here's Ludwig. He's an easier version of Roy.
Okie dokie.
Roy is the hardest fight in this game, without a doubt. Got good luck. And this should kill. Perfect fight. Whoops. Wrong commands. So, the next Koopa kid I mentioned earlier is Roy. He attacks similarly to Ludwig, except a lot faster. So it is really difficult to avoid his attacks, and I'm going to save before his fight. At least in all bosses, in my opinion, he's the hardest fight in this run. Also, one unfortunate side effect of the #1 trousers is if you use a 1-up during a turn, then you end up losing your turn after you use the 1-up, and I'm not sure why it works like that. But because of that and the difficulty that I tend to have with Roy, I'm going to unequip the trousers for that fight only. So who wants to make this level in Mario Maker? The timing on hitting both of those blocks is kind of strange. It can look like you hit both of them, but it doesn't register it for whatever reason. Alright, here it is. Hardest fight in the run right here. Okay, he did not give me the really fast attack. That's a good start. Ah. Oh, good. Oh, bad. How did those both hit? That's supposed to be the easy attack to dodge, too. Okay, whatever. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Okay. I was really fortunate on the 3 attacks he did get. He did not do the attack that is really hard to dodge, which is the spinning shell. I'll take that fight. Anyone who has seen me run that go up against Roy before, you'll know how awful that fight can be sometimes. Oh my god, I got through that without any boo encounters. Oh my. That room is really hard to get through without getting an encounter, and it wastes a lot of time if you mess it up. Okay, so I have to make a little bit of a side trip back because I don't have Ultra Hammers. So I have to use a more creative method to get around the place that requires Ultra Hammers. Oh, there's Luigi. Dude, Franker Z, everywhere. So yeah, instead of going through the part that requires Ultra Hammers, I'm just gonna walk on lava. No big deal. So Wendy has a few interesting attacks, but they're not nearly as bad as Roy. And I had a brain fart while talking and didn't advance. Don't mind me. Not a bad fight, aside from accidentally not doing the advance on the first turn. Dude, my chat experience. This is a good chat experience. Oops. My action commands are all over the place right now. Oh, hello, Boo. I'm gonna run away from you. Wow. I got trolled pretty hard right there. This room fire dash is necessary. You can technically get to the end with various glitches, but it's just not practical to do. So speaking of glitches, let's do another. Walk on lava again to skip the sequence that separates them both. That exclamation mark is part of the puzzle, but I don't need it. Who likes Pong? There's 2 fireball attacks that he does, and there's one that I intentionally take damage on. I knew that was too early. That attack takes forever to do, so I intentionally take damage. Maybe I've done enough damage, I've kind of lost count. Yep, okay. Alright, 2 fights to go. And that Magic Koopa was nice to me. So, this Fawful fight here used to be the hardest fight in the run. But when the #1 trousers were routed in, it made this fight a lot easier because you get a free turn on him. Without the #1 trousers, when you get him out of his little pod thing, you only get knockback brothers to do damage, but with this, you also get Chopper Brothers as a backup. The timing on Knockback Brothers on this fight is really different compared to the other fights because he is so high up in the air. Oh. I want to say it dropped my input, but I'm not even sure. Missed that twice now, just one orb. Alright, let's try this again. This is why the #1 trousers is nice for when I mess this up. Okay, waffle down. Yeah, some of you may have noticed that it's not Popple's theme that's in the background on this fight. In the Japanese version, they use Cacoletta's theme, which makes a little bit more sense. Hold up. I haven't saved in a while. I was in the zone and forgot this was a marathon almost. Just like in that one instance. Thankfully, these two fights are not as random as any percent, because I have an infinite combo when I target the right person. Man, my knockback advances are kind of all over the place right now. Advanced Chopper is an infinite combo, but it's a lot harder to do because the timing for it changes intermittently. So in the Japanese version, you get a free turn on Cackletta. The turns are set up in such a way where you always get a free turn on Cackletta at the start, and this stacks with number 1 trousers, so you get 3 turns, and I want to kill her with Luigi. Not enough, okay. I miscounted. It was like 1 or 2 off. If you kill her head with Luigi, you get a free turn on the heart as well, because the turns reset on the heart when it opens up. Just like this. So, free attack. Alright, Mario should be able to pick up the kill. And that is all bosses. I still have to escape, though. You get 3 minutes to escape, which is more than enough time.
Okie dokie.
So a little fun fact, my PB is actually a low 3 something, but I forgot to make the highlight of it for whatever reason. So the best recorded time I have of this is 3:07 flat. But a really good run of this category could get under 3 hours.
Yahoo!
3:08:15. Not bad for a marathon. We got time to play the credits, so I'm going to let those play out. The stream is going to briefly go down after this run, and after that there's going to be no more planned downtime aside from the break after Super Mario RPG. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching this run and for everybody who's coming for the marathon. Up next we have a Paper Mario All Cards race versus Giga DB and Juicy. They have the top 2 times right now, so this should be a lot of fun. And then following Paper Mario, we will have Super Mario RPG between Albrecht, Milnium, and Oxwas to close out today.